There's something really interesting here. So look at his jaw. See that movement on the lip and also the jaw. Here is the thing. He uses that a lot, but he's back. And I'm so excited and happy to say that. Loesch Capaldi is back. This morning I was at the gym, I was working out, it was a leg day, and I just saw that he put a song out, Survive. I won't lie to you guys, I heard the song a couple times, but then as soon as I got home, I decided to make this video analyzing. I haven't watched the video, but before we dive in, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. Loesch Capaldi, Survive. For those who are new here, my name is Caio. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. I work with contemporary singing, and that includes vocal distortions. Yeah, and Loesch Capaldi is a great example of vocal distortions. By the way, I don't need this anymore. I'll keep my hair down. And I really like Loesch Capaldi. In fact, I recorded a couple of his songs in the past. I think it was in 2020, Someone You Love.
Somebody to know, somebody to have, just to know how it feels.
And then in 2023, I recorded Wish You the Best.
And when I said we could be friends, guess I lied. I wanna say I wish that you never left. Oh, but instead I only wish you the...
Those are two fantastic songs, and yeah, he's a great songwriter, and I love his singing, the way that he uses different vocal schemes as expression tools in his singing, and of course I'm biased here, but the vocal distortions as well, because yeah, if you guys are not new here, you know that we like vocal distortions here. Yeah. Alright, so let's go. So good that he's back.
How long till it feels like the wound's finally starting to heal? How long till it feels like I'm more than a spoke in a wheel? Most nights I feel that I'm not enough. I've had my share of Monday mornings when I can't get up.
Okay, really nice, and the footage shows a bit of the struggle that he's facing. I hope he's feeling better now after this pause. And I think some of that footage, if not all, is from his documentary. It's on Netflix, and it is fantastic. I think the name of the documentary is How I'm Feeling Now. I think is the name of the song as well, one of the songs from his new album. So here we have some phases already as a vocal distortion. So let's hear that again.
Most nights I feel that I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. So when he does, most nights I feel, he's adding some breathiness here and there. Some nights I feel I'm not enough. And when we have that breathiness, we reach, not only because of the breathiness, if it was only breathiness, it would be something like, sometimes I feel I'm not enough. But when we try to add a bit of activation, and at the same time we have that breathiness, we reach what I like to call the somewhere in the middle, where vocal or glottic vocal distortions happen. So instead of the whole thing active, sometimes I feel, or the whole thing passive, sometimes I feel, we are kind of in the middle line there. Sometimes I feel I'm not enough. And this kind of distortion, the phaser, works better when you're doing it a bit higher. I think that he's going for that later, but we have a bit of that distortion here already.
That I'm not enough. I've had my share of Monday mornings when I can't get up.
And when he's not doing the distortion, sometimes we have what we call the crooner voice. So the vocal folds are active. So vocal folds are active. He uses more space. This is interesting. It's also part of, I suppose, he goes for a bit of depth also because of his accent. He's from the UK. So we have a darker sound. Even when he's speaking, he uses a bit more space than usually we hear in American, well, I'm in Canada now, American / Canadian English. We have more space in his accent, and we have a lot of that when he's singing as well. So he likes to make the vowels a bit darker, And we have that here, and with vocal folds active.
But when hope is lost,
See that phaser. When hope is lost. Oh, another thing that he likes to do, those yodels. So,
but when hope
when hope. This is really strong in his singing as well. The yodels.
is lost, and I come undone.
Phaser again. I come undone. So what's the difference between the phaser and the creaky? Because sometimes people think, oh yeah, it's just a matter of like adding fry into your singing. Here's the thing, the vocal fry, or the fry sound, as I like to call it, is this. It is just the crackling of the arytenoid cartilages. We don't have a fundamental pitch. We have frequencies because we are dealing with the whole spectrum in terms of harmonics, but we are not producing a fundamental pitch because the vocal folds are closed. We have the arytenoid cartilages crackling, but the vocal folds close. As soon as we start to allow more vibration coming from the vocal folds, then we add a pitch, a fundamental pitch into that. So instead of we have and that's a creaky voice. The creaky is quite quiet, so we don't have a lot of volume for the creaky. However, if we try to increase it, we will either lose the distortion altogether. So that's the reason why most of the times the creaky will happen as a fade-in technique. I'm going to sing, or as a fade-out technique. I'm going to sing, like at the end. But then, if we don't lose it, we'll have to turn that distortion into something else. It won't be the creaky anymore. In this case here, for instance, if we add a bit of breathiness, we'll have the phaser. I come undone.
I swear to God I'll survive if it kills me too. I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up and live.
Believe. So this is a snare phaser. Believe. We have also a bit of breathiness there. We are allowing some escape of air, but we have more muscle mass mobilized inside the larynx. Then it becomes a bit heavier, and that's the reason why this is a bit heavier. He's also seeking more space. When we're doing the phaser, we tend to get more nasality, this narrow phaser, because the phaser is still part of it. We don't have it like completely dark. We're not going for that shape to avoid nasality altogether, but we have a darker sound compared to the pure phaser. I will sing this right now. See that I'm not singing now. I'm singing something in the direction of no. Gonna sing this right now, and I will keep singing this. So I will seek more space. So that's the idea.
I'm gonna get up and live until the day that I die.
Die. The yodel again. Die.
I'm gonna survive. How long till you know?
So you know, a Gregorian voice, the vocal folds are passive, but still want to be heard. He's not. No, he's still singing forward, but his vocal folds are relaxed. We say the vocal folds are in passive tension. They are closing because of the air pressure pulling them to the center. We talked about that before. That's an effect that we call Coanda effect in physics. The vocal folds, but the pressure inviting that mass, for that case, the vocal folds to the center.
How long till you know?
So we have active, so crooner voice to Gregorian voice. How long till you know? And we heard that before, right? Somebody to hear, right? That same idea.
That in truth you know nothing,
You know truth, you know nothing. Oh, so the crooner, the phaser, the crooner.
How far will you go to get back to the place you belong?
And it's so nice because at the same time, Loesch writing is really deep in terms of like he's always talking about struggles. Sometimes the themes are related to relationships, sometimes family, sometimes his own emotions, and how the way that he's feeling sometimes about himself, about his life is not that positive. That's the same case for this song here. The themes and the lyrics are really deep, and his singing is expressing that. And at the same time, I can't say that I'm not extremely happy to have the guy back. So yeah, that dichotomy between the words that you're hearing and at the same time feeling extremely happy because this fantastic artist is making music again. Yeah, let's keep going.
Most nights I feel that I'm not enough, but I refuse to spend my best years rotting in the sun. So when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do,
there's something really interesting here.
try. If it's the last thing I do.
So look at his jaw. See that movement on the lip and also the jaw.
If it's the last thing I do.
Here is the thing. He uses that a lot when he is doing vibrato. I haven't heard a lot of vibrato here.
If it's the last thing I do.
No. Da, and then the yodel. So we had the distortion. Da, and then the yodel. Da, but not vibrato. However, when he was recording the video, it might be the case that he was doing vibrato. The thing is, you will see a lot of voice teachers complain about the way that he does the vibration of the jaw. He's shaking the jaw as he's doing the vibrato. I can't even do it. The thing is, sometimes in vocal pedagogy, we call that kind of behavioral compensation when we're doing some structures or some behaviors, some movements that are not exactly necessary, but we do them as we're doing something else. And usually that's treated as bad. It's something that usually we tend to avoid when we are teaching. We tend to put the student to do the movement as clean as possible. So let's try to move only what we need to move. Try to stay still and move only your mouth, or maybe move only the muscles inside your larynx, but don't move anything on your face. Try not to move your jaw. And for instance, you don't need that movement to do the vibrato. You need movement inside your larynx. For some kinds of vibrato, you need the movement of your abdominal muscles as well, but you don't need your jaw. You don't need your lips vibrating in order to do that. However, is it necessarily a bad thing to move your jaw? No. It is when that movement it's adding extra tension that's making the vocal scheme, the vocal technique unhealthy. Is this a case for Loesch Capaldi? I don't think so. You don't hear his voice more tense because of that. However, teachers who are into a more traditional approach, they might say, see, that rasp, when he does, it's because it's too tense. That's a technique. That's not something that's happening because he's hurting his voice. It's a technique that he can use or not. Oh, so that's obviously because he was increasing the tension while he was doing the... no, that's a stretch. So again, if you're learning how to sing, we try to avoid those extra movements that do not necessarily belong or are crucial for the technique to happen. But if you have something like that happening, but it's not hurting you or your voice, then like it is okay. For instance, when I'm singing, I tend to raise way more this eyebrow than this one. It's something that sometimes I try to correct because, oh, this is a compensation and whatnot. It's not hurting my singing. You know what I mean? I'm not hurting my voice because I'm doing that. So it's something that it's nice to correct. Yeah, just for the sake of keeping the movement as optimal as possible. But at the same time, it's not something that necessary. Something that I can live with. You know what I mean? All right, let's go.
I still got something to give.
small Loesch.
Cannot believe.
Oh my god, look at this guy.
Till the day that I die, I swear to God I'll survive. I swear to God I'll survive.
I say, survive! Survive! And Yodo.
I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up until the day that I die. I swear to God I'll survive.
It's deep. And what can I say? What a fantastic song. What an incredible singer. I mean, Loesch Capaldi is a big reference to me as a songwriter and singer. If you look into my channel, probably the voice cover that I made on Someone You Love was one of my first videos here. That's when it kind of clicked to me a bit more about my own singing career, because it was during the pandemic and I was like working a lot, teaching during the week, and then during the beginning of the pandemic I lost a few students. I got more free time and I was like, man, I'm teaching the whole time and I'm helping my students with like developing their voices and whatnot, but I'm not focusing on my own singing. And I remember that at the time I came across Loesch Capaldi and I started listening to a few of his songs. I started writing a lot as well. And yeah, this is he was one of the singers that were a big reference in the way I wrote some of the songs that I wrote. And it's so hard to see artists like that, like struggling with all of the situations that he had, like his health condition with the Tourette, and of course the pressure, because of course his career happened and got to that level really fast, and then he needs to deal with all that. I can only imagine the amount of pressure that this guy has on his shoulders. I hope he releases more and more music and he starts touring the world again. And yeah, let me know what you think, which of these techniques you already use in your own singing. If you want to develop your voice and learn all of these techniques that we talked about, including the vocal distortions, check the link in my bio to look into my course, Building Your Voice. We talk about passive vocal schemes, active vocal schemes. We have a module all on vocal distortions. We had a vocal exercise library where you can practice all of these different techniques. We have an extra module on music theory for singers. And when you click the link, you get a free lesson over 30 minutes long. So definitely check it out. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell button to receive notifications. That helps me a lot with the algorithm. And remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change, and not the world.